There it is. Okay, I think we're live. All right. Well, here we are. Welcome to episode 2 of the Team Race podcast. I am your host, as always, Mr. Chris the Fast Ass Kopetsky. And with me today, joined by the new co-host, Miss Callie Robb.
Hi, everybody. I don't know about the fast guy here, because I'm pretty sure if we do some recapping, I'm pretty sure you ended up third.
Well, we'll talk about it. So, I guess to start off with, what we're going to go into is talk a little bit about the last round. So, just a little bit of, I guess, my moments from the original Rob Ranch. The very first thing that jumps out is Ed drops 9 minutes from his qualifying lap to his first lap. Like, that was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, but when you look at it, I mean, after everybody got more comfortable and he knew exactly where to go, thank God Dad was the rabbit that day and helped everybody out.
That is true.
But, I mean, I think that helps a lot, and I think, going into this next one, everything is just going to be a lot quicker. They're going to learn.
That's true, too. I mean, we were counting on him dropping, I think it was 6 minutes, or maybe it was 5 or 6 minutes, even when we were, trying to build the teams. Yeah, he could probably drop 5 minutes. And even then I was like, man, 5 minutes is a long time. And then he comes out lap 1 and drops 9. And then Noah and I were like, oh, fuck, we messed this up. I thought we were going to dominate. And guess what? We didn't. We did not.
Noah did.
Well, yeah. Shocker. His fucking program works. That's amazing.
For him.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that happened, BJ honestly rode pretty well. He wasn't too bad, but he can't keep his bike running. So
every time he went up that hill, he killed it. And the funniest part is that you could hear him go, fuck.
Yeah, you could probably see it in his body language too. Just son of a goddamn.
Oh, I'm sure. But I mean, that's what you get when you ride green.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's nothing good coming out of a green bike. Ever.
No. I mean, even Chance says so. Blue Anderson.
Yeah.
There's no green. It's blue.
That is true. Yeah, you'd be better. So I don't know if anybody else really saw this. I did, because it happened right in front of me. But Kelly just kind of decided to say fuck it and race. He was kind of sore coming in, didn't really, want to push anything, didn't want to perhaps have a wreck because he wasn't feeling too good. And it was, I don't know, I can't remember if it's lap 2 or lap 3. But he looked at the timesheets, and Derek and I and Ed were all ahead by quite a bit. And I remember him looking up at me. He's like, we're going to have to drop time. We're going to have to drop time now. And then all of his times dropped immensely. Yeah, so much for taking it easy, guy.
Yeah, I tell you what, he's really competitive. And when he wants to go for it, he goes for it. There's no holding him back. I mean, if you've got Kelly on your team, you have someone who's going to be there and he's going to push himself no matter how he feels.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Well, I feel like that's most people, except maybe Chuck. Chuck's not much of a pusher.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, too. I'm pretty lazy these days, too. But, I mean, I don't like to lose. So just wait. Maybe there'll be some cleaning of the tires this weekend.
All right. Challenge accepted. So, John drops a ton of time. From his initial time, from his first lap coming down, he dropped a bunch of time, and then he switches to Brady's bike, which I'm going to tell you a little fun fact about that here in a second, but it's actually not what you'd think it would be. John said he felt more comfortable on Brady's bike, but stats show otherwise.
I mean, he looked pretty good. It kind of sucked that his bike went down, but, it's good that we've got so many bikes around for everybody to keep riding, because that really would have sucked for, I think, everybody if his bike wouldn't have run the way it was supposed to and we didn't have a spare.
I mean, it would have helped my times better. I probably wouldn't have got dead ass last, but whatever, I
mean, if you're thinking about it, you really didn't get dead ass last because a couple of us didn't even ride, so we technically got dead ass last.
I guess that's true. That's true.
So you got one more point up on me and Sean and Dad.
Yeah, well, and I made a deal with Chuck beforehand that I think it was whatever Alicia got was going to be his place, and that was our deal at the beginning of the race. So he should technically be scored with whatever Alicia got. She won, and he actually wanted me to put him as a second place. So I think he's actually scored as second. So
Oh, sneaky little bastard.
yeah, he moved up there. Um, Another one, I don't know if a lot of people seen it. It was pretty freaking sweet, but Noah attempted the greatest block pass I've ever seen in my life, and it fucking failed.
It was hilarious.
It was so good.
When Ed fell over on that hill, I literally remember looking up and going, "Oh my gosh, this is where it's going to come down to." Like, because I mean, there was literally the three of you left had to race, and that was it. And then we were done. We were at the 4 hour mark. But when I saw Ed up there struggling, poor guy, I feel bad for him. He was on a hill. His bike wouldn't start. But anyways, when I saw him up there and I saw Noah and Kelly coming around, I was like, this is going to get pretty interesting. Who's going to be the better passer? And in my mind, I'm like, well, Kelly is. He's more aware of his surroundings. Noah was like, nope, I'm going to fucking send it and block him. And then he ended up getting blocked by Ed.
Yeah, like honestly, they couldn't have played it any better. Noah was on the outside coming into that corner, and they turned to go up that hill, and Noah played it like the best he possibly could. I'm assuming Kelly came on the inside of him in that corner. I didn't get to see that part. I just seen him start coming up. But Noah pushed him into the hill, so he was gonna have to like go up in elevation anyway. So it's gonna like kill his bike out. And then he just didn't look up and see Ed. So then Kelly just rode him straight into the next guy, and Kelly rides off for the win. Like, what the actual F? It was like just smart on everybody's part. Except Noah should just look up.
I don't know why he's looking down all the time. Shit, is his dick hanging out or what?
Well, we know that's not it. So the other big one was obviously Ed killing it on the hill. Like, I felt pretty bad for him too. He was actually doing really well, and then he killed it. And due to previous experiences, yelling "get your shit together" doesn't necessarily make him get their shit together. So I was trying to be nice, but like had he got his shit together 30 seconds earlier, we might have been able to make a good push.
Yeah, probably. But the poor guy was on the hill for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was a lot. Well, yeah,
it was at least 5 minutes.
It was quite a bit, yeah. And then obviously the big one was AJ comes out of nowhere to win it. That being said, like I told everybody, and I remember telling John right before the end, like John was saying, I just have to beat you. And I'm like, you know, she doesn't have to do the same track we do. I think the big one's going to be making sure that she doesn't beat us. And then John's like, I don't care if she wins. I just want to beat you. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And guess what? They both fucking did it. So
when you guys all took off on that last lap, I knew it was going to be super close. So every time we could see you guys at least all come together, it was honestly, I thought John was honestly going to do it. But then towards the end, when you can see Alicia, like, just kick ass, I was like, oh no, it's going to be Alicia, John's team, then Chris.
You know, honestly, that whole time, because I caught her like 3 different times because she got to like move, like cut part of the track. And every time I got there, like I was trying to, like how I taught Noah, like be an asshole, like get in the way and just block. And every time I got close to her, she would like just get over it. And I was like, well, that is like, you need to like try to block, give your team a chance. And then I thought about it and I was like, she's given herself the best chance because she just gets out of the way, lets the dust settle, and then she just rides her race. Like had she tried to block me for a while, she probably wouldn't have been able to see much and probably would have dropped time anyway. I was like, it's a genius move, and I didn't see it. And she did good.
She's got it figured out. I tell you what, it's going to be pretty impressive to see what BJ, Ed, and Alicia do on this next track. I mean, it's their home track technically, but we don't have any times on any of them on this track.
That's true. Yep. If she wins again, she has to do the full track from now on. that's going to be my new rule. So going into our next segment, this is kind of new. This is Chris's fun facts segment. So did some stats just on the last race and kind of some interesting things. Noah, AJ, and McNulty's team through every lap, like between lap 1, lap 2, and lap 2 to lap 3, and lap 3 to lap 4, everybody dropped time every lap. Nobody ever like went even the same lap time or worse, except Noah's final lap. which was 0.3 of a second slower. That was it. Otherwise, everybody gained time every lap.
Noah, if you wouldn't have blocked and or looked up, you could have not had that statistic.
That is true. That is very true. And actually, in the very first podcast that I did, I was looking at some stats from the beginning of the year. Every race Noah's done, there is one lap where he fucks up. And this is the one race where he didn't fuck it up. He kind of fucked it up at the end. But it wasn't terrible.
Yeah. He came in clutch just enough for his team to win.
That is true. The other one, and I know BJ's going to listen to this because I talked to him about it at the race, but BJ dropped 1 minute and 6 seconds between his first lap and his second lap. And then after that, he loses time every lap. he lost between 2 and 3, he lost 30 seconds, and between 3 and 4, he lost 52 seconds. Now, that's not good, not what you want. However, the thing that makes it worse is McNulty dropped 1 minute and 58 seconds between lap 1 and 2, which is a lot, but also BJ drops 1 minute and 6 seconds. However, McNulty continued to improve every lap. Not by a lot, but between lap 2 and 3, 2 and 3 was 7 seconds, and 3 and 4 was 20 seconds. So just by improving and not killing his piece of shit Kawasaki, McNulty's going to win that one.
Oh. Well, BJ will just have to work on those arm strength workouts or getting your shit together workouts.
Yeah, that one. That's probably the one he needs. Or maybe a new bike. That's what I would suggest.
I mean,
something not
it looked
green.
like maybe he was rebuilding it this week. Maybe he was using different parts other than Kawasaki parts. It's just got green plastic on it.
Maybe he's got it in there. That's true. I never thought of that. So in the last podcast, Noah and I talked about Derek. Like, it's just hard to beat the fucking guy. But Noah said, Derek doesn't really have bad days. He just has less good days. And Derek actually loses almost 30 seconds between lap 2 and 3. That's a bad day for Derek. That doesn't happen. And when I was looking through the stats for this last race, I was like, you know what? Derek might finally be losing it. Like, there might be a chink in the armor. But I think this was just his first ever bad day.
Yeah, usually he gains time between, the first and second lap because he comes back and he looks to see what you've got, and that's usually what he aims for, is to try to beat your time. And 30 seconds, Derek. The fuck, do you have a cob up your ass?
And that's just one lap. Like, every other one, he still does really good. So it's not like it was detrimental to the team, but it's notable because he doesn't do that ever.
Yeah, he doesn't.
No. Now, moving on, John lost 29 seconds when he switched to Brady's bike, which also happened right around the 3-hour mark. And in the previous podcast, I said John might fade at 3 hours. Now, I don't know if it's me being right, but it could be. Or if it's the fact that he switched bikes. But actually, when he switched bikes, he lost 29 seconds, and then he got some of that back on his last lap. And I think it was like 20 seconds. But that was also a shorter lap because he didn't have to do that full first section there. Mm-hmm. So I think it would still be right around the same mark.
The same time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sucks when you lose your own bike, but like I said, it's good that we all have extra bikes. John's a pretty fast guy. I mean, he seems like he's pretty well into shape just looking at everything else that he's done, even with some of the past scoring that we've seen. It's just, I think he's a pretty consistent guy. He's kind of like Kelly, just keeps going, continues to go for his team. But, when you talk about that 29 seconds, it could have been the bike, but at the same time, he felt pretty good on Brady's bike. So maybe it was just, just a little bit of fatigue.
I was right.
I don't want to say you were right.
Maybe.
Well, we'll leave that up to John. We'll leave that up to the viewers.
Okay. So another kind of weird stat that I just happened to pull out of nowhere. Chris and Derek had 9 of the top 12 fastest laps of the entire day. The other 3 were held by AJ, the one who fucking won it. So I'm not saying that I'm one fast bastard, but collectively, as a group, we're pretty fucking fast.
Well, you two were on the same team that day.
Yeah, and we were pretty fucking fast.
And you still got third. Sometimes it always doesn't matter about how fast you are. How good is your skill?
Well, you just got to trust the process, Cal. That's all you got to do. Just trust the process and it'll fall into line.
I trust the process. I follow the process. I'm looking at it here. Your process doesn't seem to be working with a third.
Well, we have one day it tested the process. Just calm down. We'll get another one. So, another weird one, Kelly, John, and BJ, all three of them dropped over a minute and 10 seconds from their qualifying to their fastest lap during the day. So, they did improve immensely, which I don't know about you, but like when I did my qualifying lap, and I've told people this before, but like I felt like it was pretty fast. And then somehow, like I just found more speed throughout the day. Like you're just pushing that much harder. And even John said that that was like the sorest he's been in a long time just because he was pushing so hard.
Well, when you think about the Rob Ranch, it beats the shit out of you. Like it is, I personally think it's the hardest on your whole body.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just so technical. And when you go for 4 hours that hard, I mean, it'll get to you. But as far as dropping a minute 10, we calling those guys the sandbaggers now or what?
Well, I mean, Ed was up there. I need to check the thing for the sandbagger list, but I do think that there's a few of those names that are on there. So we're going to have to keep an eye out. We're going to definitely have to have a, what do I want to say? Like a penalty or
like a 10-second penalty. Like,
well, maybe not a penalty.
You were too fast today, or you were too slow yesterday, so we're penalizing you for being a sandbagger
they
today.
They need to be reprimanded. Like maybe they have to wear a tutu during the race if they're on the sandbagger list. Or,
I mean, if you suggest something like that, I'd be down to wearing a tutu. I'd be a sandbagger.
Well, we'll figure something out. We'll find something.
Chris, you do that, everybody's going to be wearing a tutu but you.
Well, yeah, I know. Because I'm good.
Okay.
All right. So enough about what happened, and let's move on to what's going to happen. So the NCC course, this is the first time we've raced there. We had to swap it out because we couldn't race Knoll, so it got pushed up. It looks like it's going to be quite dry. It looks like it's going to be hot. So there's that. It's not going to be that fun weather-wise.
Make sure you guys bring your umbrellas, drinks, and some cold ones for afterwards.
I like that. And I do think Ed is smoking like a brisket or something like that afterwards.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good. As far as the course goes, it's going to be one of the faster ones. I think it's kind of rough, just mainly because of the rocks. Like, honestly, it's not bad. It's probably what I would say the second easiest one on the schedule, right behind Sunol. Like, Sunol's really not that bad. It's just sandy in spots. But this one's more open, more flat, too. Just rocks is probably the biggest deal.
I think the biggest thing that maybe gets me at BJ's is when you get those open flats and you come into a corner and it's just like hard compacted pasture ground. I think that's what beats the shit out of me for my arms. I don't know about anybody else, but I think that's the hardest thing for me is trying to figure out, especially in that pasture, which, I mean, you know, no rain, gonna be dry, compaction. I think that can take a toll on you. So we'll see if, you know, that affects anybody. I can guarantee it'll affect me. Just saying.
Yeah.
But anybody else, you know, it could be the rocks, it could be the climb for, you know, where that big rock mountain is or whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's pretty similar. I mean, I would say to Sunol, it's got a few logs, a few rocks, but otherwise pretty wide open.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, maybe one thing that would really hinder that is like dust, especially if you're behind somebody. But with only being 3 people out there, I really don't think it's going to be that bad. Like, it's going to suck if you're like 10 feet behind somebody. Just get 5 feet behind them. It'll be fine.
Chris says get 5 feet behind him. As long as he's out front, he doesn't care.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Just go faster. That's easy.
No, I don't think dust will be too bad. Maybe just at the start. So at the start, ladies and gentlemen, have your shit together because it's going to be dusty.
That's true. I did talk to BJ, just asking him about things that maybe he was going to try to do with the track. The first thing is they still want to get that bridge built that kind of goes over that little draw down there. And if that happens, there will be a new section. I doubt that happens.
I mean, they're going to the lake this weekend, so I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, there's a very minimal possibility. However, the possibility is there. BJ did say he was currently leaning toward running the track backwards. Um, I don't know how the hell you do that, especially with the pond jump. Like,
You can't
you
unless you just
gonna
skip it.
you're gonna skim the water and do a wall at the end. Like, I mean, sand into a wall jump, cool, but water into a wall jump, all right, that's gonna. You better
We'll try it. We'll see how it works for us. We'll make BJ go first.
have stones the size of coconuts. So he did say he's gonna try to fill the pond if the fire department lets him steal a truck for a while. Um, Also, this is in quotes too. He said, if the pond is filled, the last place team has to jump in the water at the end of the day.
I mean, if we're being honest, it's going to be hot. I'd even jump in.
You better bring your Speedo, boys.
I mean, no, don't bring your Speedos. Keep those at home. Save those for your wives.
If that's true, I want to beat Chuck so bad. I want to see Chuck just belly flop the shit out of it.
I don't want to see my dad in a Speedo.
Well, it'd be fun, just one time.
Maybe for you guys. I'm okay.
I just want to see him like jump off of that just single and like pretend to whip it and then just belly flop that bitch so hard. That would be so cool. Chuck, I love you, but I really hope that you lose this weekend.
Oh, Dad, clean out his tire.
He did also say if he is able to get the fire truck or whatever he's going to try to do, he's going to try to water and disc that like starting area, which last year for the Potter race was absolutely amazing. Like, I don't think he could have got that any better. That was perfect. It's going to be hot and dry, so I mean, it'll be an attempt.
Let's just hope it rains throughout the next week. I know it's rained the prior week before, but if it can rain a little bit more out there and get a little bit more moisture in the ground, that'd be great. I mean, otherwise, no offense, BJ, but I'll just talk to Mark. I'll get him out there and we'll get that fire truck going.
Seem good. The exchange zones, from what it's sounding like, is going to be just west of the house, like from where his Quonset is, next to some grain bins. So I think it's kind of like right where those trees are.
It's right where those trees are, yeah. Right, that's where it would be. Where we initially started, like, the track, when we first ever went out there, that's where we would start.
Yeah. He did say that his Quonset, he's going to clear out. He did say cleared out and not cleaned out. So I'm trying not to get him in trouble with the wife and say that he's got to go clean the Quonset. So we're just going to say there's going to be a cleared area that people can stay in to pit. And he did also say he's going to have the races on TV. So if your team is doing shitty, you can watch somebody else race.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, he said it's going to be dry. His exact words were, "Welcome to the desert, bitches." So.
Maybe we should call this the desert race.
Yeah.
I mean, PNCC is pretty cool too, but I mean, I think we should like give these things nicknames.
Yeah, he needs a good one, Like, it's just PNCC. I asked him if he wanted a different name for like the trophies and everything. I was like, do you want PNCC? Do you want me to put Potter on it? Or like BJ's Suck Shack? I don't know what you want. He was like, no, PNCC is cool. I was like, all right, well, put that on there, I guess. But
short and simple. I mean, that's what everybody's going to know it as. But like for a team series, like, BJ, come up with like a sweet ass name.
Yeah, we do need something.
I mean, I like Noah's too, but the Blockowitz Backwoods, we came up with that a long time ago. I mean, we should just come up with some different names. I know Chuck's not gonna change the Robber Ranch ever. Like, he ain't ever doing that.
That's set in stone.
That's set in stone.
Yeah.
But we should. Sonol, we should come up with a different name. They're just boring names.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, just maybe like some nicknames.
Maybe
like, we all know what they are, but like, maybe like at the end of the year, we're like, all right, what should we have named this track this year?
Yeah, I do like that. And like even sections, like at Noah's, we got Sean's Shit Shack. Everybody knows what that is. That sucks ass.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna come up with a name for those stupid laying down tires.
Oh,
it kicked the shit out of me last time we went. Bike flipped on me. It was a shit show.
We're gonna call that Cal's Corral.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, I like that. It took me for a ride. There we go.
Yeah, We need something like that, BJ. Let's see if you can get something happening here, guy. So the way it's going to run, Friday afternoon qualifying sessions, mainly so that we can get more people there. I guess Ian's like, what, like, does Chuck actually work? He could be there at noon.
Well, if it's a Friday afternoon and they're not doing shit, he usually just leaves early. Maybe I'll be like, all right, Emerson and I are out here, and then he'd probably just head out.
Yeah, I'll probably just bring the lit pros up like Thursday night. Be like, when they get here, just run it.
There you go. There you
go. Friday night race. I believe Sean's hopefully going to make it for that, and then probably qualify Saturday morning. Dude, the night race is going to be different.
You guys riding the night race backwards, or are we riding it forwards?
Well, I don't know. It's supposed to be like, if you read the rule book,
you have to ride it backwards.
You're supposed to ride whatever race the racetrack is backwards. At least for the A guys. The B guys can do whatever they want.
I was about to say, us B guys, especially me, I ain't riding shit backwards.
Especially if he fills that pond at night.
Yeah.
Fourth gear straight into a freaking death zone. Then Saturday race day, hopefully start at 8. So Sean's got to wake up a little early and get his qualifying in. So we probably actually won't know teams until Saturday morning. So,
I mean, we'll have an idea of where we could be. I mean, we can speculate off the times we got here.
Well, we could do that. It's just so weird with how that program works now. That, like, who knows how it's going to flip out.
Well, Noah's not there, so it doesn't benefit him. So who's he trying to benefit on this next race? Is the question.
That is true. I don't know. I don't feel like anybody really likes the guy,
I feel like if he's going to try and benefit someone, he might benefit AJ just to piss you off a little more.
Well, fuck Noah. That's all I got to say. That guy sucks.
Poor Noah.
Gosh. You think you'd give me a little leeway? God damn. All right. Well, yeah. Pretty much it for the course preview. Now, everybody's favorite segment, going into the predictions. So we're going to start out with one of the most controversial. We're going to field AJ right here. I think AJ is going to do coming into the PNCC. That's just too many letters, Come on, BJ.
The punk.
Yeah, we got to get something that sounds cool.
The punk.
Yeah, let's get something. Well, it's not even the 120. Why do they call it the 120? I don't understand that. It's not like the area code, is it?
Ask PJ.
All right. So, predictions starting out here. Miss AJ, what do you got for AJ coming into the Hunk 120 round?
AJ. So she rides it quite often from what I can get a feel of when they go out and ride for the day. I think from what I hear from BJ, she rides pretty well. She's going to do good. It's her home field advantage. She knows it. I honestly don't think she's going to be cutting a whole lot this round. She rides it consistently. Yeah. And it's her home track. If anything, I could see maybe some of the rocks, but like I said, she rides it consistently. So I think that AJ's going to be riding the majority of the track just like the rest of us are. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of cutting out, but I think overall, home field advantage, I think she'll do pretty good.
So pond jump?
I don't think so. I don't even know if I'm doing the pond jump.
Fourth gear tapped works every time.
Yeah, okay.
Well, as far as I go with AJ, they live there. I don't know if they ride it that often. She rides around there. So it's kind of like Noah with the backwoods. He lives there. He probably hasn't seen the track in months. So I don't know. I think she'll do fine. It's definitely one of the more open ones. So I don't think there's much that she's going to struggle with. So I don't have a doubt that she couldn't do the whole track. I just worry about how much time difference there's going to be. There might be some stuff, like you said, the rocks where you go up that hill. That might be a good one to cut out just to save a little bit of a time. I'll just try to get teams a little bit closer. But yeah, I think she's going to do pretty well. Did you see that she got all white plastic?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they got rid of that freaking shitty orange stuff. Yeah, so she's going to be coming in real hot.
She thinks she's going to be hot.
Well, yeah, that's true. There's a lot of
I
confidence when
mean,
you change
I'm
stickers, you
gonna I'm
know?
gonna be honest. I got white plastic. I'm still not the fastest,
But you felt
but I
good,
fucking
didn't
look good.
you?
That's what counts.
And that's all that matters. So going into the second guy, um, yeah, he was the first one, huh?
No, he was
He
not.
wasn't. Mr. Sean coming back out of, well, not even retirement, a hiatus. We'll call it a
Ooh,
hiatus.
there you go.
Yeah, coming out. What do you got on Mr. Sean here?
Well, Sean's a pretty good rider. When he wants to be fast, he's there's no doubt that he could be the fastest guy. I'm sorry, he could be.
Um,
I mean, he's fast. Sean is fast, hands down. But when Sean throws his oh shit moments in
yeah,
there and
okay.
about shits himself,
I was going to add that in there, but I'm glad you brought that up.
then we kind of got to take a step back. But I mean, last year Sean was on. He was on last year. I mean, after that first year of him literally seeing death twice in the same round,
Yeah,
the same one.
no one I called it ass cannon yourself. It's a pretty good analogy, really.
Yeah. Okay, so when he ass canned himself twice in that first lap, after that, he just wasn't the same the rest of the season. He came back, recuperated, and in my opinion, I mean, if you give it to him, he's going to take it. I think he can beat anybody.
You know, honestly,
Yeah, crack your beer because you don't agree. It's okay.
I'm not saying I don't agree. Honestly, I think this is one that I'm gonna agree with you on. Like, Sean obviously hasn't rode much. He got new suspension, so there's the false level of confidence that he needs. You know, he's gonna think he's fast. But honestly, it's a big open track. There's not a lot of obstacles that could really throw him. You know, the logs maybe if he tries to triple.
Yeah, he's pretty smart when it comes to that. He's pretty good at the logs. I think that, you give Sean his dues, and Chris, you're coming in
I'm
second
gonna
place,
just
buddy.
start yelling no balls and see if he can try to triple the logs because that's gonna be my only chance of really knocking him down. Because honestly, I think Sean comes out pretty hot and heavy. Like he's won, he hasn't been beaten there, right? Like we looked that up not too long ago.
Yeah, PNCC, he won that first year. Granted,
Yep.
there was 3 of them.
Yep.
I think that second year, there was maybe 5 or 6 of them, and he still ended up winning.
Yeah.
Even with Sean McNulty behind him. And Sean McNulty's a pretty fast guy, too.
Yeah. So, like, as of right now, Sean is undefeated at the
PNCC.
Yeah, see, it's just too many
At
letters.
the pink.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
exactly.
I don't even think you can abbreviate that.
But honestly, coming into this, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be starting. Like, if Sean starts off really hot and he actually starts and he's trying to push really hard and then just like slides out or something, that's going to be the one thing that messes with his head. If he can get past that, I think he's going to be really hard to beat. Like, this is
This is his
this
track.
might be his track. This might be his day, you know? I think he'll do well.
I think he'll do really good too. I mean, like I said, I don't think you can put anything in between him other than his own head.
Yeah, that's true. That gets in the way sometimes.
That it does.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the next guy. Got a little insight on this guy too.
Ooh.
His eyes have been bugging him, and he's got new goggles, and now he thinks that he's like got Superman vision, so he thinks he's really fast. But Mr. Kelly coming into the round, what do you think old Kelly's going to be doing?
He's an Energizer Bunny, man. I'll say it again, and I'll say it every single time. I mean, if you want a guy on your team that's consistent and that goes to the end of the world for you, it's that guy right there. I mean, God bless him that he raced the last round, but I mean, I didn't feel good, and I totally didn't race. He didn't feel good, and he put me to shame and raced.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, like you said, he didn't feel good last time, and then all of a sudden he just decided that he was going to get his shit together and go, and he did. So he was freaking racing with Noah, which I understand isn't the biggest deal, but he did push him a little bit. So there's that.
Yeah.
I think, well, this is just my opinion.
Weird.
I think he does well, but he's he's the maintenance man coming in here. Like he's just gonna give you solid lap times, nothing too special. That's just kind of his deal. He, I, I hear I haven't got to see it yet, but apparently last weekend he got a ride with like some different glasses and stuff, and apparently that really helped his vision out. And everybody said that he was riding a lot faster. Again, I haven't got to see it. He thinks it's gonna be good. Maybe he does drop quite a bit of time. Even if he drops a lot of time, like you said, he's consistent. So I think this is going to be a consistently fast time. So it's not going to be a detriment to your team. But if you needed a guy that's going to like throw down one heater of a lap to win it for you, I don't think it's him. I think it's just going to be consistent laps, and then you better hope you get it to a different guy at the end. That's my theory.
God, I hope you take that as a challenge, Kelly. I hope you just prove him wrong. But Kelly is pretty consistent. I can't complain with it there. I mean, I can't argue with it there. He's consistent. He's good. But, he also rides really smart and really well. So that's the biggest thing with Kelly, is him having him on your team is that, he's very consistent.
He's going to be consistent and he's going to be fast. He's probably the fastest consistent rider that you have. So, I mean, it's going to be good no matter what that you get with him. Now, moving into the next guy, Mr. Ed. Woo. This could be a wild card. And I just want you to know that I really do love you. I mean, I'm going to give you shit because that's just who we are. But I really do think he does ride well. Like, he didn't do bad.
No, he didn't. I mean, I think everything between, AJ, Ed, and BJ this year, I think all three of them are wild cards, no matter what you do. But, with them improving every single round, which he clearly proved on the last race that we had, what would you say, 9 minutes?
Yeah, 9 minutes on the first lap.
9 minutes had dropped. I think it just was kind of one of those things for that first round where, obviously it's a tougher track. Didn't really have, exactly where to go at the time. But it's one of those things where I think he knows this track maybe a little bit better. I don't know how much he rides it. But with, it kind of being like a home field advantage again, I think he does pretty good. I think he drops time. I think that he'll be consistent for the most part and still maybe drop a couple minutes maybe each lap or every other lap, just kind of depending on how he's feeling and who he's riding with.
Yeah. I forgot to mention this earlier, but another fun fact on Ed. So Ed dropped 9 minutes from his qualifying to his first lap. In his first lap to his second lap, he dropped like 5.5 seconds, which I know isn't huge. That's still pretty consistent. But between lap 2 and 3, he dropped over a minute and 3.5 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Which is huge. Obviously, as he gets comfortable, he's able to push a little bit more. This isn't going to be nearly as tough of a track. There's not as many obstacles. The big thing would be going over the logs, which we can skip, I believe. I'm not sure if that split lane is actually still in there or not.
I don't know, because when we rode it last year, it was almost like people were skipping it on purpose, those fuckers. It's like they made their own lane and they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
But, I'm going to go over everything, but whatever you feel comfortable with, you need to do. And, obviously whatever we qualify as, that's what we're going to ride it as.
Yep, that is very true. So I guess as far as I go, I think this is probably Ed's best round. And it's not because he's comfortable there. I think it's just, an easier track. He's going to be able to actually push a little bit more. Now, that being said, he's going to have to really watch his corners because if he starts to get confident, starts getting the throttle a little bit loose coming out of the corners,
450 is going to throw him for a loop.
He might just slide her out like he's going into home plate, and that's not what you want there, Ed. I just promise you that. That's not a good technique, buddy.
I don't know. I think PNCC will be good for him as far as one of his better tracks, but I honestly think that Sunol's probably the easiest, and I think he might do better there. Unless he likes the wider track. That's just the biggest difference personally, I think, between Sunol and PNCC is that at PNCC it's wider.
Yeah.
But at Sunol, you've got a narrow view.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it depends on how he likes his preference. Does he like that bigger view or does he like the smaller view?
I think you're going to have to ask Ed if he likes the bigger view or the smaller view. We might just have to bring that up. Well, like I said, I think Ed's going to do well, and I think this is probably one where he drops consistently times. Like, and I'm talking chunks of time too. Like as he gets more comfortable, I see him dropping 30 seconds to a minute every lap, and I think he'll be just fine. Like he's going to help your team more than hinder it here. I think he's going to do well. So next guy, easily the fastest bastard out there.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure I argued that earlier with Sean.
Well, we'll talk about it, but what do you think the old fast bastard Chris is going to do here, Cal?
No one knows what that fucker's going to do half the time. Is he going to get first?
Hell,
is he going to talk shit?
Is he
going to tell you get your shit together?
I'll let you know he doesn't even know what the fuck's going to happen half the time.
No, I guess talking about you, you are usually mostly the fastest guy during qualifying. With that being said, it just kind of depends on if Derek's going to be there or not, if you are the fastest.
Oh, okay. All right.
Although, like I said earlier, Sean's pretty quick too. But with you, you're pretty consistent with getting the top speeds. So no matter what you do, whoever you have on your team, they know that you're going to give it 110%. Obviously, you showed it in the last race. I mean, you guys, I think, were down when they all took off. You were at least down by a minute and a half. You came back, and all of you guys were within 30 seconds of each other. And you guys all started at different times. But, I mean, you push yourself pretty freaking hard to the point where it makes me want to throw up.
Sometimes I want to throw up, too. So, honestly, this is going to be a fast track, and I think that'll be fine. I really don't like wrapping my bike that tight. And so, when you get into really high speeds, I know that one, especially, along the fence, not saying that, fifth gear tapped along the fence for, 2 seconds is going to make a huge difference, but I really don't like having those high RPMs a lot. Also, every year I've raced there, I get sick. And, I feel like I'm going to throw up all the time. And I had that happen this last weekend at the Corks race, too. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's weird, and I don't like it.
Maybe other people like it. You guys, this is your opportunity. Chris doesn't do good at PNCC.
Now,
take advantage of it.
When that happens, it's also hour, 1.5, hour 20, somewhere in there. And we're literally just riding for maybe 15, 20 minutes at a time. So I think I'm going to be okay. I think it'll be fine. But there is the possibility that shit doesn't go my way.
Good luck to anybody that has Chris on his team. He's only lasting an hour.
Now, that being said, it is more of a fairly easier track. If we happen to get the front section by the pond jump like it was last year, I will whip all y'all asses all day long. That was awesome, where you can just lay into any corner.
Fourth gear tapped?
Oh, fourth gear tapped and then some, baby.
Oh.
It'll be good. Yeah, I like that. So I think it'll be well. I also plan on trying to double the logs every lap. That could pose to be an issue come about hour 4. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Good luck to you, crazy bastard.
So, going from probably the fastest guy in the group to, controversially, one of the slower riders, Mr. Chuck. We got on old Chuckster here. I really like the nickname Chuckster, too. I think we should really add that.
Chuckster?
Yeah. I want to get him a butt patch that says Chuckster with a chicken on the end of it. What is that? What's the Chucky thing? The chicken? Chester chicken. That's what I'm thinking of. Maybe we'll call him Chester.
I was about to say, are you thinking of Looney Tunes, Foghorn Leghorn? Because that's way different, dude.
No, not that one. Not that one. I'm voting right now for Chuckster.
I'll let you guys figure that one out. No, on my dad, he's gonna give you the most consistent he can do. He always gives it 110, even though he says, I'm the fat slow guy. He's still going to give you what he's got. He's not going to leave you hanging out in the dust. He's here for fun. He's here for a good time. So that's the biggest thing. If Chuck's on your team, you're gonna have fun with him. He's going to be there for you. If you need him to put down a lap, he may be like, well, maybe not this one, maybe the next one. It just kind of depends. Or maybe he'll say, ask your other teammate. Maybe he'll do it. I'm just here for fun.
Now, I guess what I got on Chuck here. Chuck is very consistent. I'll give you that. Um, One thing that like most riders do, if you can see the guy in front of you, it's usually a good kind of goal to try and catch. So it's typically better to be the second guy than the guy in first because you have the goal that you can see trying to catch them.
The rabbit.
Rabbit, exactly. Chuck doesn't have the rabbit, but the thing Chuck does have is he doesn't want to like disappoint anybody. So I think like if Chuck can see the guy in front of him, he's not going to try to catch them, but he's going to try to not lose time. And that might be the best aspect for him is that if he can see them, he's just going to try to keep it consistently in that range, which might actually end up pushing him more than hindering him.
I think honestly, when he's got someone in front of him, I don't think he tries to chase for that person. I think it's when you got someone behind you from personal experience from the Blockowitz. Like
Yeah.
last year, he wouldn't. I mean, you can't pass on Blockowitz. You get like 2 opportunities to pass,
Mhm.
unless you want to clean somebody's wheel out.
Mm.
But I mean, I can't tell you how hard I tried. Like he is hard to pass.
Yeah. that's
So
no
if you're
joke.
going to be behind dad and you're going to have him as a rabbit trying to chase him down, good luck trying to get past him because he will block the shit out of you
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
where you cannot get by and you get pissed.
that is true. That is very true. Yeah, I think Chuck has a good day, you know? I just, honestly, I think Chuck's best position to be in is second. Like, if you keep Chuck in second place up until that last lap and then he hands off, and then that last guy is a total fast bastard, I think he wins it. But I don't think Chuck's the guy to win it. I think Chuck's the guy to hand it to the guy that wins it. He's a relay member.
I mean,
He's not the anchor, he's the third leg.
I love Alicia, but I never thought it would come down to Chris, Alicia, and John.
Yeah.
I really didn't. I
Yeah.
thought it was honestly going to end like on Noah, Ed, and Kelly. I really did.
Mhm.
But it came down to you three, and it was the closest I think I've ever seen a race ever. Granted, it benefited Noah,
I know.
but it was
And-
just so close. You guys were all within 30 seconds of each other.
Oh, that irks me so bad.
30 seconds. Like, literally.
However, what it did show us is that Noah's team builder tool does actually work. Like when we started and we were like 2 minutes ahead, I was like, oh shit, we're going to have to redo this. But no, it worked great. So,
It did. I mean, and, no matter what you do, you can go through the qualifying and do whatever, but everybody's going to improve.
yeah, that's for sure.
It's just how much are they going to improve?
That's true. Yep. The improvement out of Chuck is minimal, but I think it's there.
It's there. It's there. Give him a chance. He'll show you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on your team, Chuck. I like it. All right, going into the next one. Well, I'll just let you field it right out of the gate, Miss Callie. How do you think you're going to do there, Cal?
In past, it's one where if it's dusty, I feel like I choke on the dust. So I'm hoping that, like, if we're spread out enough or if we're close, I mean, it just kind of depends on how we are. But I think that it's, like I said, I think it'll come down to how much is that open pasture that's compacted and dry and just kind of beat to shit, how that's going to impact my arms. If my arms are going to be dead after the first round because of that, I mean, I'm going to give you my best, but I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to improve every lap. I might just be consistent.
Well, here's my theory. And I'm going to give you some kind of advice, I guess. I think you're going to pump up quick. I think your arms are going to pump up the first lap. However, like, I don't know about you, but like me, if I get arm pump and then you're able to sit for a second and get that out of there, I think it just goes away. Like, I'm fine after that. So really, if you can get like your arm pump out of your first lap and still be consistent and then like cool your arms down and get that blood to come out of your forearms, after that, I think you're one to mess with, Cal. It's going to be tough. It'll be really tough to try, especially to get around you because Lord knows you ride a wide bike.
You're damn right I do.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think you'll be able to push a lot better too. So first lap, I think will probably be a little bit tough. Out of that, I'd look for your second and third lap to be pretty good. I honestly don't know how many laps you're going to get either. I don't know how long it is. This is a whole new experience for me, so I don't know. Are we gonna get
Yeah,
like
I
4 or 5
mean, I
laps?
guess if we look at times from prior, like your top guys, you guys are running about 16s. I think mine was that very first year, it was like a 19. I don't know what the second year was, but I did also ride with my dad that second year. And I got hindered because nobody would let me uh, do what I wanted to do because I was pregnant.
Yeah, that's true.
Guess what? Emerson's tough, you guys, and she just would have helped me, and I could have been faster. You just would have let me jump what I wanted to jump.
I also want you to know that baby Emerson, actually at the time it was just baby Miller, she already has the most valuable teammate award.
I know she does. It was, it was what race was that? It was
Is it
Noah's race.
backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was good. So yeah, I think you're gonna do well. I don't know. I can't say anything bad about this one, honestly. Like I think everybody's gonna do well. It's pretty flat. It's not that big. There's not a lot of room for mistakes. Like if you make a mistake, you're kind of fucked. Like learn how to ride, jackass. But
Yeah.
I think for the most part, it's gonna be pretty well open. This is literally gonna be a race about speed. You have speed, so you have B team speed.
Thanks, pal.
you're like Robin, like you're not Batman.
I'm not your Robin.
Well, I don't want you to be my Robin, but that's who you're
But
like.
you're not a Batman either.
Well, you're like you could be like
You're like Robin's purse. You're the third guy. I don't see a win under your belt yet.
Wow. Okay. All right. We'll see how this goes. All right. Moving on. We'll get out of that. Mr. John, what do you got on John here, Cal?
You know, the first time I met John, I was like, "Who is this guy?" And then when I saw him riding with Kelly, I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's fast! Like, he's not someone you want to like mess with. He's good." John's consistent. He'll be up there with the top guys no matter what you do. He's going to give it 110. Even if his bike breaks, he's going to give it 110%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the biggest thing I think I see from John is that maybe he's a little bit slower compared to some of the other guys. But maybe that's just from me looking at the stats from last year and then the year before that, when we first started doing PNCC. But it also kind of depends on how does John do when it's going to be dusty and dry. Because when we did PNCC last year, I mean, the beginning of that stuff was, it was muddy. It was a mutter the first like couple, at that first part. But then you get past that and you got dirt. Like you got, obviously it's all dirt. Duh.
Yeah, good job.
It's more dry. So how does he deal with that slicker stuff? I mean, I know he goes to all these course races, but does he do better when it's wider like that? I've seen some of those, those course races. It's more of like a dirt bike track setting. So, they can water it, but I don't think they ever do.
Yeah, I'll give you a little insight on that. It's drier than absolute shit. It's dustier than absolute hell.
So then, maybe this will be the one where he actually beats a few of our top guys because, he's used to that and he rides on more of that cork stuff all the time versus a lot of us where, we've got four tracks that we usually ride on. I don't obviously go very far, but it's just one of those things where I think he's more versatile.
Versatile?
I don't know.
I think you just mean versatile.
Whatever, sure.
Are you trying to add adversity and versatile in the same word?
Yeah. Aren't we about new words here? Okay. Whatever the word may be.
Cut her off.
He's that. And I think he's actually, I know you said it last week, but I think he's one that's going to win if you're on his team.
Yeah. No, that's not a bad versatile right there. That's good.
Fuck you.
No, John will be good. John's just good, this is a funny story. I talked to John, and when he first came out to the Robs, like, he did almost all the A-lines. And I remember talking to him afterwards, and I was like, John, like, everybody was really impressed. Like, you did all the A-lines. He was like, well, I didn't want to show up and then be like, oh, can you do this? And then not be able to do it, So he just kind of did it. But the bad thing is, or I guess the good thing is, like, he can do it and he's still fast at it too. Like, he does really well. I gotta watch him at 2 of the actual course races. He's been doing great. As far as like actual championship goes, he's winning races. I think if he doesn't win, he gets second, and they're all super dry. He pushes hard. Endurance doesn't seem to be a factor. He puts down consistent, fast lap times, especially here. He's raced it before. I think he's fast. He's probably one of the top guys. I'm a John fan.
I am too. I'm honestly super impressed. Like I didn't know who this guy was. I mean, I was impressed, and I think he continues to impress people just because he's that guy. He's almost like a second Kelly that you can count on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's making a name for himself. I mean, he's not Kelly. He's John.
He is John. He's his own guy. That's for sure. So moving on, coming off a bad day, Derek. What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, hopefully he can make it. That's the biggest thing. Hopefully Derek can make it for this race. With Derek, he just usually doesn't have bad days. He's fast. He's consistent. The one thing I will say is that if he does not clean his air filter, he will suck. His bike will suck air. His bike will not get any air, and it will be slow.
Who's not doing bike maintenance now, bitch?
Still you.
No, I do my bike maintenance. I need to clean
Kelly.
my filter right now.
Kelly.
He doesn't do my bike maintenance. I do my own.
Okay.
You can fuck right off.
I'm going to admit it. My dad does all mine. Thanks, Dad.
So, yeah, I don't know. If Derek has 2 bad days in a row, then I'll say there's a chink in the armor. However, if he comes out and puts down an absolute heater and just absolutely waxes everybody, like I think he's going to, I'm going to be scared.
All I got to say is everybody be ready to have 0 berms left when Berm Blast and Bob comes through.
Oh, yeah, well, there's not a lot berms out there, but yeah, he'll clean them out. There's no way.
If you have the slightest little berm, he will take it out.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. He's going to rub his foot in the dirt like Ronnie Mac and just pin it.
I honestly didn't think of that, but everything is pretty flat, and he could literally flat track mainly the entire course. So I see a lot of feet dragging. There might be some knee scraping going on.
Well, make sure we get a dildo just for your bike, Derek. Otherwise, you ain't no Ronnie Mac.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll wear the half-faced helmet,
I mean, I don't think that's probably safe, but
it's not safe.
You can wear everything else minus the fucked up helmet.
No, please wear the helmet. That'll give me an advantage. Unless you're on my team, then you better wear a full face.
Only if it benefits Chris can you do the right thing.
Yes, exactly. Take my advice, please. So, the last guy, the owner, BJ. What do you got on BJ here?
Again, home track, like you said before, though. Don't know how much they ride. But at the same time, I don't know what he's got up his sleeves here lately. He's, I don't know if it's his actual bike that he's completely rebuilding or if it's just a different bike that he's rebuilding. But maybe it's not going to be Kawasaki parts. Maybe he's throwing a wrench in there and it's just got some green parts to it.
I mean, it still looks like a hump of shit.
Well, it could. I mean, any 4-stroke is a piece of shit.
Oh, okay. All right. I see how you're going to play that.
But with that being said, BJ, home track, he knows it. He designed it. He's pretty comfortable on it. He's going to be consistent fast guy. Yeah. Consistent middle guy. Let's put it that way. Middle guy. I'll put him in the middle with myself. I ain't no fast person. But I think I can keep up with BJ, and I think BJ can keep up with me.
He's like your Robin, right?
Yeah, he can be my Robin.
Let's put him in tights.
Ooh, I'll give him a green little, I'll buy him a cute little green cape.
Yes. Come on, tights and a cape. Mm-hmm. We can do it.
I'll wear a Batman mask.
All right. I'm game. I think we should really make that happen. I bet he'll do it. I bet he'd look good in green tights and a cape.
I'm sure if you got him enough beer, he probably would.
Oh, game on. Deal. So, yeah, I think you're all right there. I mean, BJ coming into this, it's obviously his home track. Again, I don't know if he rides on it. I would assume not. But occasionally he probably rides a little bit of it. It's, again, flat, open. I don't think it's too hard. He shouldn't kill it. Again, if he does, geez, learn how to ride, jackass.
BJ, if you kill it on your own track,
after
rebuilding your bike, we got issues.
Yeah. Some
We're
major ones.
gonna have to look into the color of your bike and the factory sponsor that you have. You might have to go a different color.
He's gonna need an electric start before too. He's getting up there in age too, isn't he? He's gonna need.
I mean, I don't got a button except I mean mine goes on the first start, but it's a Honda.
Well, yeah. See, that's the thing. Hondas are just immaculately better.
I mean, but if I had my choice, I'd still Noah's bike. But at the same time, Noah's bike, I think it's a piece of shit right now too because he doesn't got a pipe.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
He'll eventually find it, or he'll just have to buy a whole new bike. Sorry, Peyton.
Ooh, maybe we can get Peyton a bike.
I don't think she'll go for that.
Well, she did say that she's gonna have to learn how to ride soon. So, what better way to learn how to ride than a new bike?
Well, let's get her on a smaller bike before we just throw her on a 200 beta.
I think Peyton needs like a 200 to 300 beta. And
eventually.
Well, no, let's just hear me out. We could all test it for her and make sure that it works. I think that's probably the best idea.
I mean, we could just throw her on Noah, see how that works.
Okay.
Then throw her on Chuck's, see if that works. If none of those works, then maybe Alicia will lose her bike again.
True. That's true. So yeah, I think BJ has a great day. Honestly, he'll do well. Where he's able to hand off every lap is going to be good for him because, like you said, it's really hard on your forearms to hang on there. So especially with all the rocks, that might play a factor into it later in his lap. So if you're going to pass him, clean him out at the end. That's all I gotta say. Think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
So Cal, I do have to ask you this mainly for my own amusement. Had the great Noah been racing, how do you feel like the greatest rivalry of all time between Callie and Noah would go? I have to know.
It kind of depends because last year, those last couple races, we were on the same team. As much as I wanted to take him out, I couldn't.
Oh man, I wish you would have.
I'm here for a good time and a fun time too, but I'm also pretty competitive, but I wasn't going to take out my own teammate. But if Noah and I are on the different team, I love him, but I'm never going to let him live the day on my birthday down. He's going to have that forever. It's just going to be a little monkey on his back. Just a little something that I can poke at him with. But no, I love the guy. I love racing against him. He's good shit. I think he pushes me to be better, honestly, because now that he's got a 200, he could definitely be better than me, and that's why I'm always trying to push myself to be harder around him, and I always give him so much shit.
So, comes down to it. Between you and Noah on the last lap at the PNCC, who wins?
Oh, I'd take his ass out.
Oh, guaranteed. There you have it, folks. Callie's got the power of Pine Sol, baby. She's going to clean this shit right out.
Mr. Clean.
All right. I just had to get that in there. So, honestly, any others? Like, McNulty might be able to ride. He rode good.
Yeah, he rode really well. It's hard to say Sean and Sean because they're both Seans, but I'll just say McNulty. Between Sean and then between Crawford and McNulty, I think they got a pretty good rivalry going there if he shows up. At the last PNCC race, I know that it was him and McNulty that were pretty damn close to each other, and Sean was constantly, oh, my head, and then McNulty was just right there. I think, you get McNulty out there against Crawford. I think that'll be a good one, too. I think, they're right there. They're going to go for it no matter what you do. He's a consistent guy. He's fun to be around. Having him out at the Rob Ranch, he showed consistency between, him, Noah, and AJ. They won the first one. They had a good team going. It's a good combination, and I think he's good shit, and if he's there, that's awesome. More people to add to our team and have more fun, but I think he'll do really good. He's consistent. He'll be up there, so.
Yeah. I was pretty impressed with him as well as far as the Robs went because, that's a tough track, and he rode well and really didn't fade too much. And, him and BJ had some hell of a battle out there in multiple laps, honestly. And, he just held his own. He really didn't. I'm granted. I'm sure mistakes were made that obviously we couldn't see. It's a long track and a hard track, so I guarantee there's a lot of mistakes that happen. But there was nothing major. like where he killed his bike or wrecked or anything like that. Like he kept moving well.
Hmm.
I think he rode really good. And if he does end up coming out to PNCC, I don't see a problem with him
I mean,
riding fast too.
for him riding the Rob Ranch, like what, twice, the day before and
Yeah,
then the day of,
yeah,
he did damn good.
he did really
I
good.
mean, he should be proud of himself. I mean, and he had a good team. I mean, it all kind of clicked for those guys. I mean, he's good.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna go into the last thing here, and I just have to start by saying I picked both AJ and John to be on my team for the Rob Ranch. And guess who I had a fucking race against?
Both of them,
AJ and John. And guess who fucking beat me?
AJ and John.
And John, yeah. Both of them just straight up kicked my ass. Now you know why I want them on my team. So I'm going to let you feel the start of this one so I can gather my thoughts here and really figure out who I want on my team.
You know, it's kind of hard for me to say who I want on my team. AJ, Ed, and BJ they're honestly wild cards to me. As far as everybody else goes, I'm gonna be honest. I like the consistent guy. I'm gonna choose Kelly or John. They're consistent. They'll always be there. So those are the two. Um, you know, I'd probably choose Kelly over John at this point. No offense to John, but I just think between the two of them, Kelly's been doing it a little longer. He has the knowledge upstairs of when he needs to push and when he doesn't need to push. John just kind of seems like he's an energized bunny and goes, 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 which isn't a bad thing. But definitely Kelly for me. And then I don't know for a wild card, or, if I'm going to choose if I would choose one of those wild cards or not. But I think I think I'm going to go with my dad. And the reason I'm going to go with Kelly and dad is because I've raced with dad before. I mean, he knows how competitive I am. I think he knows how Kelly can ride, and he's our consistent guy. Um, Not to toot my own horn, but I think I'm pretty decent. And then you throw my dad in there, I think that'd be a pretty good combination between the three of us. I know we're kind of some, middle guys right there, but I think if you get a few of us together, and then you have, some other people who have really like fast people, and then some who have like slower people on their team, I think it's just a good combination.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. Um, as far as what I would take, I mean, I really take anything that would get me to win. I really need to win. I've got one on the series and a bunch of seconds and then 1/3. So I can't afford another third. It's just going to demoralize me, But like, if I got to pick my own team, I, I think it's going to be another weird one, but I think I want to take BJ. So BJ coming out of the gate, mostly due to the fact, like, I think I can help him enough that he'd push hard and we could gain a lot of ground. And I think he improves a ton. Like, I know he rides there. I know that, he designed the track and all this stuff. I still don't, I mean, to be nice, I don't think he's going to be the top A rider, But I think he's probably the guy that's going to improve the most over the course of the day. And I will take that any day, the guy who can improve the most. Because really, this whole series is about who can improve the best on race day. The second guy that I want to take, and I don't know if I want to take him, is the guy that Noah and I named Wildcard Willie, Sean. Like, Sean's going to be fast. And if he's on my team, I'm not letting him start first. Because if he gets in his own head, that might be the thing that screws him. But as long as he just rides like he knows how to ride, I think Sean is probably one of the fastest guys, if not the fastest guy. And I'll even put him up above me on the PNCC as far as speed wise. I think he might be able to pull out the first ever non-Chris number one qualifying time
I'm
at the
pretty
PNCC.
sure AJ might have done that.
She did not.
She didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be a thing, but nope. I'm still one cool son bitch. So
Weird.
So yeah, I would love to have BJ and Sean on my team because I think that's a solid team right there.
I think you got a solid team there. I don't think it's a bad choice. But as far as like everybody else's teams goes, I don't know if you want to do this, but I'm gonna do it. I think is how I see it setting up. If I go off of what I have, I honestly think Sean's gonna come in at 1. I think you're gonna be 2. I think Derek's gonna be 3. And then you throw John or Kelly in there. So with that, I think it'll be Sean. And if it sets up right, it could potentially be Sean, Derek, and then you take I'm gonna take Ed, Sean, Derek, and Ed. Put them on a team.
That'd be a good one.
And then as far as it goes for you, it'd be you, John, and AJ.
I like that one. That was my original one last time, and I
But
wanted
I'm gonna
it,
put it
and then
again.
I got fucked over.
I'm
You
gonna-
remember that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that again. And then how many people do we got?
They're
So it's kind of mismatched.
Yep.
So BJ would be kind of the wild card for me, I guess, if you're gonna throw him in there. Because I mean, if I had my team, like I said, I'm gonna have me, Dad, and Kelly. But you throw BJ in the mix too. He could be on any one of those teams, and it could still be a deciding factor. I think honestly, with you picking BJ, I think BJ could be the determining factor of who wins that day.
No, I mean he does have a Kawasaki, so he doesn't have to race his own race, you know. Like we could just let him sit that one out and sit in the corner and let him lick the windows that he wants to, you know. That's kind of his thing, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure yours is licking windows.
I don't know. It's gonna be a good one, that's for sure.
I think it'll be good too. Just I mean, kind of looking at previous times. I mean, fucking Noah got to go on his honeymoon. Well, he can't show up, but we still love him. We love Peyton. We want them to have a happy marriage. Besides the point.
And motorcycles.
And motorcycles.
Yes, happy marriage and motorcycles.
But
yes.
besides the point, I think that everybody's going to do good. I think, between you, Sean, Derek, John, and Kelly, it's going to be super tight in that top 5. I really do. I don't think you can stray from it any other way. Coming in at that middle section, I think BJ's probably one of the top guys. You got me. I'm going to put AJ and Dad in there as well.
Yeah.
And then you've got Ed as well in there too. Just kind of in that second spot, I don't think I missed anybody else. I think that was 10. But and then I mean, if Noah was here, I mean, you put him in between, BJ in the top 5 and me. I mean, I don't think there's a huge gap between everybody when it comes to this race. I think it's going to be, what you qualify at is going to be pretty damn close to what everybody's going to ride the next day. Maybe drop a minute for everybody. Maybe.
A minute? I don't know. I see it being more than a minute, personally.
It depends on the person, I think. But, I mean, in all reality, I think you're going to have, your top 5 guys, and then you're going to have your middle 5 guys, and those top 5 guys are going to be close, and the middle 5 guys, they're going to be close too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very accurate. I would agree with that for sure. But, really when we started this whole thing, we had 3 tracks. We had Rob's, which was honestly just harder than hell. Sunol, which was fast, and then Noah's, which was tight and kind of technical. And now we have this new one, which is really just kind of fast again. So we kind of have like 2 fast rounds. And then there's like the chance for obviously some rocks and things like that. So it's a fast kind of technical at the same time. Like you have to be fast, but you also can't eat your shit. So
yeah, you gotta be smart in those corners. I think with PNCC it's a little wider too. You've got more opportunities to pass than you do on a lot of the other tracks that we go to, because it's more single versus because this one's built for quads, ATVs. It's built for the bigger.
Honestly, we haven't really talked about that, but the opportunity to pass is going to be so much better too. Like, obviously, Noah's, you pretty much got to wait for the Joker lane or maybe the opening at the corner track.
Yeah.
Sonol is even hard to pass people on. Rob's is obviously hard to pass people on. You just got to take different lines. This is going to be like you could pass about any point in the entire race, so you don't have to wait for a certain spot to try and make something happen.
Yeah, and I think that'll be the biggest thing is trying to figure out when to pass, if it's a good time to pass, and then also how good are you in corners when it's slick.
Yeah,
are you going to be able to make that? Is your bike going to be able to outpower the next bike? Like, there's just a lot of different technical things, but it is more open to passing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything. I guess that's the PNCC podcast for the team series. I guess let us know if you like Callie better than Noah. She's definitely more talkative. Noah kind of sucks, a lot.
Noah just doesn't have his own opinions. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
It's okay. He wasn't bad.
I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, damn it. Let's go racing.
That's why we love you, Cal. But all in all, the wedding this weekend, I guess, how do you say that? Congratulations. There you go.
Yep.
Congratulations,
Noah and Peyton. We're excited for you guys and your future together.
And the motorcycles that you will have together.
Chris can't keep that out, but...
Yeah, it'll be fun. Maybe a year of training? What do you think?
Not by you.
We'll get Peyton in there. I think Chuck needs a good rival, so we got to get Peyton and Chuck together and see if maybe they can start having some battles. But I think that'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to the Team Race podcast. Let us know how you liked it. If you didn't like it, you can suck it. I don't care. Yeah, that's it. So we'll see you guys later.
See you later, guys.